Hey folks, welcome back. This is Lucid, and we are jumping back into our game with Late Age Ulm. And in the last episode, I was probably in a pretty good mood because we had our little sneaky elf plan had worked, and we basically conquered Sawaki. So yeah, and I wasn't exactly sure if they had any kind of secret countermeasures they could pull, or like mass air elemental spam me with cloud trapezing dudes into their capital. But none of that was to be. And some of that you get just by sneaking the initiative, which we certainly did. This turn we found a Moonvine Circle, and these are super duper good. It gives us basically an Enchanter, which is a Astral 1 and 2, which is really, really nice. These are super good. We're going to be building a lab here. I don't think I'm building it this turn because I'm a little poor. We had an event this turn, which is Constant Darkness. So everybody's income went to the absolute shitter this turn. Look at this. So anyway, that's unfortunate. You can see we're doing a ton of trading. Most of this is for items. Almost all this is for items I'm forging people. We don't have that much going out this turn. I think I had a lot more going out last turn, but Amulet of Anti-Magic, Elemental Armor. This is to get... I need to get Kaelas's God online. Because what the next few turns are going to be about, I'm about 4 turns ahead of this in the real game, is we have a growing threat, and that is Caelum. And we have formalized an alliance now between myself and Rotterdam and Kaelasa and Alkera that the birds must be stopped. And the birds in the army graph are way, way, way ahead of anybody else. Like, the birds are probably at least twice mine. At least, maybe 3 times. And on top of that, they're probably one of the biggest players on the continent. So all things for us to worry about. We had a few battles. We took out these Maeneids here. We were worried here about bumping Vanheim, because we were thinking Vanheim would be vulturing. Because I would be vulturing if I were Vanheim. But he didn't. So that's very nice of him. And we went and took this province from Sawaki. He gets most of his guys blessed, but that will not matter that much. So Ulmish troops are good. You've got a bless, we've got big greatswords. And we see a battle in Bod, where Yis attacks and gets defeated by the AI. It's kind of hilarious. Always embarrassing when you lose to the AI. But what's happening here is actually there's some panic spam going on back here, and the ponies fail a morale check. But there's probably about 30 panic casts. And most of them fail a morale check, yeah, right about now. And these guys kind of get wrecked when they get in close to the mages. Yeah, there go the ponies. I think this guy's crippled or limped or something. Yoink! Die, ponies die. What's really funny is these guys, even when they're routing and they have really bad defense from that, these wolves still can't touch them on the way out. This guy's gonna walk all the way to the back. Don't mind me, just the Morvark coming through. So 3 Morvarks dead, and then a few souse, and yeah, that's what's happening there. We also have news. So this is where the Yis stuff is happening, and apparently Yis has decided that this is going to be his next adventure into Barkskin Marverni. So Marverni took a Barkskin Bless, which I would say is pretty ill-advised. It makes expansion kind of easy. But yeah, there's a lot of problems. Sometimes you don't want Barkskin, like if you're fighting Yis with fire-breathing ponies. Because Barkskin gives you a Fire Malice, and obviously that's going to be bad news. There's other problem, like you just really want larger too, is the thing. So anyway, there is that. Yeah, what are we doing this turn? Well, This turn, there's a lot of dudes in here, and I would go on top, but that is a lot of Ali Lords. So I think what we're going to have to do is group up and get more dudes. I think that's what we're going to have to do, because these guys will mess me up something fierce. And yeah, I think... So we're basically going to bring these Y-handers in, and they're going to go sit on top of this fort with me, because I think I need a front line, and it hurts me to say it, but I think it's true. There's more guys from Sawaki down here, and we need to take this fort. I wasn't going to take it. I was going to leave it to Rotterdam, but there's been a diplomatic development, and I think it actually happens next turn, not this one, but since we're going to pull that one up this episode anyway, I'll tell you about it. Atlantis has ended their nap with Rotterdam, which is funny because I was talking to Rotterdam before. I was like, dude, Atlantis is going to knife you. And this was not based on talking to Atlantis. This is just based on, like, look how much water stuff he has. Like, if I were Atlantis, I would look at this and be like, oh, sweet, we're going to take this from Rotterdam. Anyway, sure enough, this next turn, Rotterdam gets a message from Atlantis where they're ending his nap. And Rotterdam was telling me, like, no, I think we're pretty good friends. Like, they're not going to attack me. Okay, buddy. Well, this is in conjunction. This is the same turn, or the turn after he ends his nap with Caelum. Nobody else on the continent has a nap with Caelum. So Alcara is going to be rolling out. Kaelasa is going to be rolling out. But he's ended his nap with Caelum, and so now Caelum's going to start getting ready. They have a nap 3. Caelum's going to start getting ready to bird him. So that's basically what's happening over here. We're making... there's a few things that have happened. We got our first vampire, Gada von Arkenbach, and we have... Gada was the player for Sawaki, so the lore is that the first vampiric kiss was given here. And anyway, Gada is going to reanimate our vampire hordes. And Mr. Wiggles, who... all honor to his name, is going to cast Sanguine Heritage this turn while Gada is empowering. After this, we're probably going to have Mr. Wiggles make Bane Lords. In the meantime, we're making some gear for some of our vampires. And I think that's mostly it for this turn. Where's this turn? Let's go ahead and go to the next turn. Turn 39. Turn 39, you can see another flood of gems coming in. This turn, I think, is one of my more busy forging turns. When you look at all the stuff going out. Look at all this stuff I'm sending out. We are a lot of gem trading. I'm usually making a tiny profit of like 1 gem on each item. But a lot of this you can see is to Jotunheim. So there's other news. To Jotunheim, to Alcara, a little bit trading with Kaelasa. A lot of these are people part of the Alliance. And the reason is I need these guys to be strong. So I want to make sure that they have every single thing they need to fight Caelum. And Caelum has decided this past turn, and which is why I'm sending this stuff to Jotunheim, that he's going to eat Jotunheim. And so Jotunheim is down here. He was not actually part of the Alliance. But he was weak looking because he was basically in an assault war with Pythium. And I forget where Pythium's cap is. But Pythium went and burned his cap to the ground and asked the birds to attack Jotunheim. And so Jotunheim had basically all of Pythium's stuff. He had basically everything. Except he was not able to defend his cap. And Pythium had a big salt army that he marched out from his cap, abandoning it and killing Jotunheim's cap. And he was pissed because he and Jotunheim were allies in a war against Kaelasa, and Kaelasa talked his way out of it and said, hey, Jotunheim, let's team up instead against Pythium. And I don't know what terms were made or what promises were made, but they came to an arrangement, and the arrangement was fine for Jotunheim. And so Jotunheim switched sides, and Pythium was so upset about this, abandoned his cap, and marched to Jotunheim, where he destroyed the cap and is now out of the game. But Jotunheim, meanwhile, has a few other forts. They're not completely down and out. They're a good player. I played with them a bunch. And anyway, they are now getting birded very hard by Caelum. And what getting birded means is you have like 50 birds on attack rear, that are going to attack like 10 or 12 of your provinces. And so that's what's happening every single turn. He's getting 10 or 12 provinces taken, which is a lot. Things go to shit real quickly. So anyway, that happened. And in other news, so anyway, we're sending stuff out to Kittis Scrotty. That's basically what a lot of this is. When you look at the stuff going to Jotunheim, we're giving him, this is way better gear than he would have. This Scrotty he's going to get with a dancing shield. We're sending him an amulet of anti-magic, but we really need to send him a storm spool. He might have, I think I actually gave him this for free. I don't think I meant to. Anyway. The Scrotty he kits out with this stuff, like Armor of Knights is so good on Scrotty. Which one of the things that Jotunheim struggles with is getting good, like, earth gear, good armor, because the paths they have typically don't have great armor in them. So anyway, he's going to be having a very, very strong Scrotty that's going to be very, very hard to kill. Okay, anyway, that's what's happening in this part of the world. And like I said, we're wasting probably like 200 or 300 RP a turn. Not wasting, because we're getting a tiny, we're getting 1 gem of profit from each item, but we're basically getting like a huge amount of, or we're wasting a huge amount of RP in terms of forging. We're headed up for construction 7 and then 8, and you can see we're about 2 turns away. I think we're going to have a detour actually, but I think that'll be like next episode. The other thing is there's just a small little remnant force here from Atlantis. From Oceania. And apparently Oceania's capital, which is right here, they're trying to dom kill them. So anyway, that's going on. Atlantis is trying to dom kill Oceania. And the income malice is lifted, which is great. I was kind of thinking Sawaki might move their big force out this way and come to take his cat back, but instead he sat inside his fort, or potentially patrolled, but ran into a very large force from Gondwana, and Gondwana's capital is right over here. So we are going to come, because we've got a monster boar here, but we're going to come and knock that army off. Excuse me. Just like so. We lost some Zweihanders here because I really don't like having my Zweihanders in the same army as my crossbows. I really don't. It's not my thing. You have so much friendly fire every single turn, or every single combat. Okay, anyway, regardless, that's neither here nor there. Once we get Aerofend up, it'll be a lot different, and we can actually combine these more successfully. But anyway, for now, we're going to hit this. And Moss Body, Swarm. We've got this guy who's a little thug. And we've got this guy doing Legions of Steel. And we've got... one of the vampires we got this turn was Burkhard Nock. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, he's one of the tougher of the vampire lords. He has full plate, so his body protection is phenomenal. You kind of need to give him a hat. I didn't have a hat to give him. I wasn't going to put that on him. You kind of need to give him a hat. But aside from that, he really doesn't need much. He would appreciate... having... like a... whatchamacallit? The bracer protection or something, because his protection is so high. But he's also got invulnerability, so of course for mundane stuff, his head protection is pretty good. Because it would be 25 head protection, mundane. But he tends to kind of get decapitated. That's kind of the way he rolls, because he doesn't wear a helmet. We probably should look to forge him one. Anyway, we've got a few things we can potentially do here in the coming turns to try to go inside, but... these Ali who are beneath the fort are pretty scary to try to thug against, but it's something we could try to manage. They do have magic weapons. So a lot of our cheese would not work. But we potentially also have an Earth Mage. I don't know. We have some options. We have some options for what to do. And we've talked to Rotterdam now, and because Rotterdam has had Oceania in their nap with him, we are going to... He can no longer take this fort, basically. And he got birded this turn, or is about to get birded. I can't remember which. We should be able to tell. No, he hasn't gotten birded yet, but he's had Atlantis and his nap with him. And so he said, yeah, I'm not going to have the resources to take this. So we're going to go ahead and send this army in to start knocking down this fort. We're also pinging this throne. I want to see... I kind of know what's inside here. I've seen this kind of throne before. This guy's usually just like pure air with... This is basically, can you survive huge air elementals, lightning bolts, moderately not great chaff, and tons of shock damage from Springhawks. That's kind of the thing. And you can take this throne. So anyway, that's what that is. So anyway, we're sending some idiots here, and my grand plan here is to come over here and get Gondwana's stuff. And once I have Gondwana's stuff, that will open up a path to Caelum. And once I have a path to Caelum, we can take Caelum's stuff. And my goal is to push through here and get this stuff from Caelum. My other goal is I need to inflict as much damage on Caelum as possible so he doesn't eat Rotterdam. If he does eat Rotterdam, we need to be in a position to vulture as much of Rotterdam's stuff as we can. So that's what's happening this turn. And I think it's a kind of short episode for that. I haven't really been talking a lot about my research going through the roof, guys. I guess we'll do score graphs real quick. Provinces, you can see we're looking pretty good here. We're probably in the top 7 or something for provinces. Like, we're doing good, but we're not great. Forts, we're okay. We're not going to be in the top. We might be in the top 10. Income, we're probably better than most nations because we have pretty good lands and we have a lot of high-quality forts on our best lands. I think for income, we're probably top 5. For gym income, we're probably top 5. For research, we were not top 7 before for research, but that was before when we were researching like 800 a turn. I think in terms of slope, we're probably top 7. In terms of total quantity of research, we're probably top 10. Then for Dominion, I think we were actually doing really well in Dominion the last time they posted graphs. Army size, we're okay. And then ascension points, I don't even know. We've got 1 throne, so we're not really on. Well, we haven't even claimed our 1 throne, so we're not really on there. So anyway, that is what's happening. And I think we'll see you next time. Cheers.